Before the statue, before the festival, before the museum, before Mothman became a t-shirt, a sticker, a meme, and possibly the most beloved cryptid with glowing red eyes, there was a road outside Point Pleasant, West Virginia. There was an abandoned military area locals called the TNT area. There were two young couples in a car. There was darkness, and according to them, there was something standing near the road. Something tall, something winged, something with red eyes. Not just red like animal eyes catching headlights, red like something glowing from inside. The couples said it chased them. They said it kept up with the car. They said it flew without flapping its wings. And when the story hit the local newspaper, the headline did not quite know what to call it. A man-sized bird, a creature, something. That something would become Mothman, a cryptid, a warning, a monster, an omen, a piece of West Virginia folklore. And depending on who you ask, maybe something much stranger than that. Tonight on Dead Signal Radio, we're doing things a little differently because one listener didn't merely request Mothman, she demanded it. So tonight, Lucy joins me for a special guest episode as we head to Point Pleasant and ask, what was Mothman? A misidentified bird? A local panic? A supernatural warning? A cryptid? Or something still waiting in the dark near the edge of the road? Let's tune in. Somewhere between fact, folklore, and late night speculation, there are stories that refuse to disappear. Signals hidden in the noise, legends whispered in the dark, and mysteries that somehow feel stranger the deeper you dig. Welcome to Dead Signal Radio. Strange stories from the edge of static. I'm Michael, and tonight I'm not alone. Lucy's joining me because after episode 1, she listened, answered the poll, and immediately demanded that I do Mothman. So Lucy, welcome to Dead Signal Radio.
I've been waiting for this one. I feel like Mothman deserves his own episode, and maybe an apology for everyone assuming he's automatically the bad guy.
All right. So for anyone listening, this is going to be a little different from the normal part. Usually I'm reading a scripted episode by myself. Tonight, I'm still going to guide the story and cover the main points, but Lucy's here to react, ask questions, give her theories, and probably judge me if I disrespect Mothman too much.
Oh, absolutely. If you start slandering Mothman, I'm here to defend his reputation.
Which is fair. So tonight we're looking at one of America's most famous cryptid legends, Mothman, a winged creature reportedly seen around Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the late 1960s. A creature tied to glowing red eyes, strange sightings, abandoned bunkers, UFO reports, Men in Black stories, and eventually one of the worst bridge disasters in American history. We're going to talk about the sightings, the TNT area, the Silver Bridge, the theories, and whether Mothman is best understood as a monster, a warning, a misidentified animal, or a legend that grew out of fear and tragedy. Lucy, before we get into the actual story, there's a quick question. When you think of Mothman, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Honestly, mystery. There are a lot of cryptids that just sound like scary monsters, but Mothman, he's always felt different somehow.
Okay, let's see that. That's probably the correct level of emotional investment for this episode. All right, so let's start where most versions of the modern legend begin. Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Point Pleasant sits where the Ohio and the Pinal rivers meet in western West Virginia. It's one of those towns that, if not for one particular legend, might be known mostly for its history, river views, and small town Appalachian character. But in November of 1966, Point Pleasant became the center of one of the strangest creature stories in American folklore. A big part of the story is the location where many sightings were reported, the TNT area. And that name's not just spooky branding. The TNT area was connected to the old West Virginia Ordnance Works, a World War II era munitions manufacturing site. So picture this: abandoned industrial land, old concrete igloos, overgrown roads, woods, fields, ponds, rusted remains, and the feeling that maybe you're somewhere you should not be after dark. That's already a pretty good setting for a cryptid story. Now, Lucy, be honest. If someone said, hey, let's go for a drive around an abandoned World War II munitions area at night, are you going?
See, this is where curiosity and self preservation start arguing. I'd go right up until the moment someone said, "Did you hear that?" Then we're leaving.
See, I would absolutely do it. I would absolutely do it. Not. I mean, I've already been through Point Pleasant, so.
True, true.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to stop, but I did get to go. It was still neat though. But anyway, the TNT area is one of those places where the setting itself does half the work. Even before you add Mothman, it already feels like the kind of place where something weird could happen. And in November 1966, according to the famous account, something weird did happen. On the night of November 15th, 1966, two young couples were driving near the TNT area. Their names were Roger and Linda Scarberry, and Steve and Mary Millette. According to their account, they saw something near the old power plant, something shaped like a man, but not quite a man. They described it as large, winged, grayish, with glowing red eyes. And when they drove away, they said it started following them. Not casually, not like a bird drifting overhead. They said it chased them. They claimed it flew behind the car at high speed, keeping up as they tried to get away. And this is where the story shifts from we saw a weird animal to absolutely not. Because seeing something strange in the dark is one thing, but having it chase your car is another. Lucy, I need your official response. You're in a car at night, you see a large winged figure with glowing red eyes. It starts following the car. What are you doing?
I am immediately becoming religious. I am no longer obeying traffic laws. I am possibly yelling at everyone. I'm just telling everyone to keep going. Maybe we'll unpack our feelings tomorrow, but right now, get the hell out of there.
I think I'd still be like, okay. I would probably poop my pants a little bit.
A little bit.
Just a little bit. But then I'd be like, okay, let's
Absolutely.
figure
A
out what
healthy
this is.
reaction. Yeah,
Right,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's probably the healthiest reaction you can have, yeah. The couples reportedly went to the police and told their story. And this is one of the reasons the Mothman legend's interesting. They didn't just keep it to themselves, they reported it. The next day, the story appeared in the local newspaper under a now famous headline. Couples see man-sized bird, creature, something. And honestly, that headline's perfect. Because it captures the entire Mothman problem. Bird, creature, something, nobody knew. And that uncertainty became the story.
Honestly, I kind of respect that. They were like, we don't know what this thing is, but it's definitely something. Imagine being the editor. Can we be any more specific? Nope.
Yeah, it's dark. You're driving down a road, and all of a sudden you see this
It's
thing coming at
there
you,
was a
and you're
thing.
like, "What is?"
Exactly.
You don't know what it is.
This happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
if that happened, right? Yeah. I love that the newspaper itself basically shrugged in headline form. Creature,
Right.
something. It's very professional, very relatable. One of the most famous details in Mothman reports is the eyes, the red eyes. So witnesses describe them as large, bright, and glowing. That detail shows up again and again in Mothman lore, and it matters because eyes are often what make a creature's story stick. A shadowy figure is creepy. A winged creature is creepier. But glowing red eyes? That is the part your brain keeps. Now, skeptics would point out that animal eyes can reflect light. Owls, deer, raccoons, dogs, cats, lots of animals can produce eye shine when light hits them. But witnesses didn't describe ordinary animal eyes. They described something more intense, something unnatural, something that just felt wrong. Lucy, where do you land on the glowing red eyes? Instant monster, possible animal, or I don't care what it is, I'm leaving.
You know what? I certainly lean that way because the moment I see something red glowing, I'm out. Like turn around, walk out. Can't do it. I mean, misunderstood much? Definitely.
Yeah, no, I can see that. You see glowing red eyes, and you think, I'm not going
Out.
anywhere near that. Yeah, I'm not
Why
going
would
anywhere near
you?
that. Yeah, exactly. You're like, nope,
Right.
I'm just going to turn around, go the other way, and hope for the best.
Exactly.
But I think that is absolutely the correct scientific answer. I'm leaving. The red eyes are part of why Mothman became iconic, because without them, the story might be less memorable. A large bird near an abandoned industrial area, interesting. A large winged humanoid with glowing red eyes chasing a car, that's how legends are made. After the first major newspaper story, more reports began coming in. People claimed to see a strange winged creature around Point Pleasant and the surrounding area. Some sightings were near the old TNT area. Some were near roads, some were near homes. Some reports included strange lights, which could be the eyes, and some included electrical disturbances. Some included UFO activity. And once John Keel entered the picture, the Mothman story became connected to a whole broader web of strange phenomena. Keel was a writer and paranormal investigator who later published the Mothman Prophecies in 1975. His version of the story didn't treat the Mothman as just a weird animal. It connected the creature to UFOs, men in black, strange phone calls, prophecies, psychic phenomena, and the eventual Silver Bridge collapse. Basically, Keel took Mothman from local cryptid to cosmic weirdness. Lucy, does adding UFOs and the men in black make this more interesting to you, or does it make you more skeptical?
I love it when a story gets weird. I mean, every paranormal story eventually has, you know what this needs? Aliens.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yep. Aliens just make everything better. It's like,
Exactly. I mean,
yeah,
everything is an alien if you don't know it, is how I feel.
that's no. That's like UFOs are. Let's see.
Right.
What's the new nomenclature for it? You unidentified aerial phenomenon. So like
Yes, that.
something like that. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just because it's unidentified doesn't mean it's alien. It's just you don't know what it
You
is.
just don't know what it
It's
is.
not identified. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I guess Mothman could kind of fall into that category. But yeah. But that is the tension with Mothman. On one hand, the extra weirdness
Right.
kind of makes the story fascinating. And on the other hand, the more paranormal details get attached, the harder it becomes to separate original reports from later legend. And that's going to be the theme of this episode. There's the original sighting story, and then there's the larger Mothman mythology. They overlap, but they're not always the same thing. So I want to come back to the TNT area for a minute because it's almost a character in this history. A lot of cryptid legends have a place like this. Bigfoot has deep forests, the Jersey Devil has the Pine Barrens, the Bell Witch has the Bell Farm and Cave, Mothman has the TNT area. And the TNT area gives the legend texture. Old bunkers, abandoned roads, wildlife, dark water, industrial leftovers, decaying military history. It feels like a threshold space. Not fully natural, not fully man made anymore. A place where humans built something dangerous, abandoned it, and then nature started taking it back. That is good folklore territory. Because places like that already feel haunted, even before anything happens. Lucy, does the TNT area make the story more believable, or does it just make it more cinematic?
Honestly, yeah. The setting almost becomes part of the legend, right? I mean, if someone told me this happened in the middle of a Walmart parking lot, it'd be a different story.
But you kind of expect that at a Walmart park. I mean, if we're being honest,
I was there
that's
earlier.
I just left her. I worked there.
Right,
I'm
exactly. Yeah.
gone. I'm so glad today was my Friday. Anyway, but I think it does both. From a skeptical perspective, the TNT area could explain some things. It was isolated, dark, full of wildlife. People may have been on edge just from being there. Large birds can be present. Shadows and headlights can distort perception. But from a folklore perspective, the TNT area is perfect. It gives Mothman a lair, and every monster needs a place people whisper about. Now, let's talk theories. The most common skeptical explanation is that people saw a large bird. Several birds have been suggested over the years: a sandhill crane, an owl, a heron, a large bird out of place. The sandhill crane theory comes up a lot because sandhill cranes can be tall, with wide wingspans, and have reddish markings near the eyes. If someone saw a large bird in poor lighting near an already creepy location and then panic took over, maybe the report got exaggerated. That's plausible, but there are problems. Witnesses described something extremely large, humanoid, and fast. They described glowing red eyes. They described it chasing a car. So the bird explanation works better for some parts than others. Another possibility is mass panic or social contagion. One major report gets published, people start talking, everyone's on edge. Normal sounds and shadows become suspicious. More reports come in. The legend builds on itself. This happens. Human perception is not a camera, it's interpretive. We don't just see the world, we process it. And when a town's buzzing with stories about a red eyed creature, someone seeing a large bird at night may interpret it through that fear. Lucy, what's more convincing to you? Misidentified bird, town panic, or actual weird creature?
I think different people probably saw different things. You know, some people may have seen a bird. Some
Right,
may have genuinely experienced something they couldn't explain. They don't have to
right.
cancel each other out. I think it's just a weird area with
It's like a
weird,
magical.
yeah,
It's all of everyone's
perspective. Like what you thought you saw. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, I can't tell someone else that they didn't see what they saw.
right, exactly.
Right.
And I think the honest answer may be that different reports had different causes. Some people could have misidentified animals. Some could have been exaggeration. Some could have been people wanting attention, which yeah, that's legitimate.
Actually,
Some yeah,
yeah.
right. Some could have been sincere witnesses who saw something they genuinely couldn't explain.
Right.
And that doesn't give us one clean answer, but it may be closer to reality. So now we're going to talk about the part of the Mothman story that needs the most care: the Silver Bridge. The Silver Bridge connected Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio. I don't know if that's how you say that or not. Across the Ohio River. On December 15th, 1967, during rush hour, the bridge collapsed. 46 people died. This wasn't folklore.
Goodness.
I know. This wasn't spooky rumor. This was an actual disaster that devastated families and the community. So I want to be clear. We're not treating the bridge collapse like a fun, scary twist. Real people died. And the cause of the collapse was eventually traced to a failure in the bridge's I-bar suspension chain, a structural failure, not a monster. But in the public imagination, the timing mattered. Mothman sightings have been reported in the Point Pleasant area for roughly a year, and then the bridge collapsed. And after that, the sightings seemed to fade. So people started connecting the two. Some asked, was Mothman a warning? Was it an omen? Was it trying to alert people? Was it connected to the tragedy somehow? Or did the tragedy simply attach itself to the legend afterward? So, Lucy, my big question for you is, do you think Mothman was seen as an omen because people needed the tragedy to mean something?
Whether Mothman was real or not, I absolutely believe people look for meaning after tragedy. I think that's part of how we survive. We
Right.
ask ourselves if there were signs we missed because accepting pure randomness is just incredibly hard.
Yeah,
I
you're just looking
almost,
for answers. Yeah.
yeah, I almost like the idea that if Mothman does exist, maybe he's not something to fear. Maybe he's a witness. You know, we see him around tragedy because he's there, not because he caused it.
Right.
Like
And
maybe,
there's one way to look at it as a warning. Is like maybe it wasn't a warning like, hey, I'm going to make this bridge collapse. Maybe it was a warning like,
right.
hey, this bridge is about to collapse.
Right,
You know,
exactly. Just he's just
again,
kind of there. He
perspective.
knows it's going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not the cause of it, just he's around.
Yeah. And that's where I tend to land. It's like when something terrible happens, people look backward, they search for signs, warnings, patterns, things they missed. That's just part of
Right.
being human. After a tragedy, randomness feels unbearable. So if a strange creature has been seen for months before the bridge collapses, it's easy to understand why people might connect those events. Not because they're being foolish, but because they're trying to make sense of something terrible. That's one of the reasons Mothman is such a powerful legend. He's not just a monster, he becomes a symbol. It's a warning in the dark, a thing seen before disaster. And that gives the story emotional weight. But it also means we have to separate the real tragedy from the mythology that grew around it. Now, a lot of the modern Mothman legend comes from John Keel's 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies. Keel was not just writing about a winged creature, he connected Mothman to a broader pattern of strange events: UFO sightings, men in black, odd phone calls, prophetic messages, electrical problems, and just a general sense that Point Pleasant was experiencing something bigger than a cryptid flat. That's where Mothman becomes less like Bigfoot and more like a paranormal event. Bigfoot is usually framed as an undiscovered animal. Mothman's a little different. Mothman feels like a warning, a visitor, an omen, something may not fit neatly into the biology. Lucy, do you prefer Mothman as a cryptid, like a flesh and blood creature, or something more supernatural?
See, part of me almost hopes he's supernatural because it's more interesting. But
Right.
another part of me likes not knowing. Like that's almost the thing about it. Is there is
Yeah.
no real thought, you know?
Because like the way the story goes, especially with the bridge collapse, it's like he showed up for months before the bridge collapse, and then like after it happened, he just disappeared. That
Right.
leans more supernatural to me. Like he's
Exactly.
here, he was here to warn us. Then the event happened, and
Then
then
he's
he's
gone.
like,
He's probably off warding something else somewhere else, you know?
he may actually just he may be like just the world's weirdest superhero in a
The
way. If you look
weirdest
at it,
superhero?
I mean, but he couldn't actually save anybody. He was trying his best to, you know,
Sounds like
prevent.
someone's punishment actually. It's like,
That
hey,
could be
you
true.
can't actually save these people, but you show up and watch it
Oh,
happen.
that's like the worst way to look at it.
Oh my
Like
god.
I'm trying to save these people, but I can't do anything to help them.
And they all fear me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Oh my
yeah, that
god.
makes
Okay.
that's no, that's actually a really interesting way to look at it. Like
Right,
I hadn't
definitely.
even considered that, but yeah. But apparently that's the great thing about Mothman. He works either way.
Right.
If he's a cryptid, you can imagine some unknown or out of place creature living near the TNT area. If he's supernatural, you can connect him to the bridge collapse prophecy and all the strange phenomena reported around the same time. If he's folklore, he becomes a symbol of a town processing fear, mystery, and tragedy. Mothman is flexible. That's why the legend survived. A creature that can be a bird, a monster, an omen, an alien adjacent entity, or a mascot with a shiny metal butt in downtown Point Pleasant. That's
Whoa.
Rain. Have you
Whoa.
not seen the statue?
That's impressive, honestly.
You need. If you haven't seen the statue, you need to Google Point Pleasant, West Virginia,
I
Mothman statue,
mean,
and there are close-up photos of a big shiny metal butt.
not many
He's got a
legends can
dog.
do that.
No,
They can go from, terrifying an entire town to becoming a tourist attraction with a well-defined backside.
Yeah, I've seen pictures. Like I said, yeah, it's
So are
impressive.
people taking selfies with them? I mean, one
You can,
generation is
yeah,
afraid of them, and the next
it's a
generation is like taking pictures.
I mean, the town. It's a small town, but it attracts a lot of
Yeah.
visitors every year.
Isn't that crazy?
They have the
Something that's so
Mothman Festival.
feared is
Yeah,
now celebrated.
it's. I mean, it brings. Like I said, it brings in a lot of people every year. They have the
Right,
Mothman Festival that
exactly.
comes in every year.
Yeah.
They've got there's a souvenir shop that's dedicated to Mothman.
Nice,
There's
nice.
a really cool old hotel that I want to stay at, but I think it's being remodeled right now. It's called the Low Hotel. So if I ever go back, I want to stay there because it's supposed to be haunted too.
Nice.
So I want
Definitely.
to check that out for sure. But here at Dead Signal Radio, we respect all cryptids, even the photogenic ones.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now we can't do Mothman without at least mentioning the Men in Black. And
Ooh.
not the Will Smith. Well, Men in Black. Not going.
But he makes it look good, don't you
He
remember?
does, like the song says, he does make it look
He does.
good. But in the broader Mothman mythology, some witnesses and investigators claim that strange men appeared in the area, oddly
Oh.
dressed, unsettling, asking questions, warning people not to talk. This is classic UFO folklore territory. Men in Black stories usually involve mysterious visitors who seem human but not quite right. Like there's just not something quite, there's something off about the way they look or the way they act. They appear after UFO sightings or strange encounters. They intimidate witnesses, and somehow they may know things that they shouldn't know. Sometimes they behave awkwardly, almost as if they're imitating people rather than simply being people, which is rude because some of us are awkward naturally and don't deserve to be
Right.
with
Feeling
paranormal.
called out.
Right, I know. I feel very, yeah. But in the Mothman story, these reports add to the atmosphere. The creature's weird enough. Then you add UFOs, Men in Black, strange phone calls, bridge collapse. Suddenly, Mothman is not just a thing with wings, he's part of a full paranormal storm.
Whoa.
Oh, I know, right? Lucy, does adding the Men in Black make this cooler, or does it make it sound like the story is just trying too hard?
Look, they're either covering up aliens or they're just the weirdest HR department imaginable. Just like what kind of like damage control is that?
Right?
I
Yeah.
mean, why would people just say that then? Yeah.
They roll
Surely
in,
people were calling.
there in their black suits, and they're like, "Hey, don't you
Right.
talk about this to anybody because it's top secret." Da da da.
I mean,
It's definitely out there for sure,
for sure.
and I think that's the danger.
Yeah.
The more high strangeness you add, the more fascinating the story becomes. But also, the harder it becomes to verify. And that's where Mothman lives, right between this is incredible and hold on, how do we know that this happened?
Exactly.
And that's not a bad place for a legend. It's kind of perfect, actually. One of the most interesting things about Mothman is what Point Pleasant has done with the legend. Today, Mothman is not just a scary story. We were just talking about this with the statue.
Yeah.
He's part of the town's identity. There's the statue, there's a museum, there's the festival, souvenirs, there's fans from all over the world. People travel.
Fans.
Yeah, I mean, he's just look at the statue. Okay, look it up later.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, there are people who travel to Point Pleasant just to visit the places connected to the legend. And actually, I think that's kind of beautiful because the story that started with fear became something the town could claim. And that doesn't
Right.
erase the tragedy of the Silver Bridge. It does not prove the creature is real, but it shows how folklore changes. At first, Mothman was frightening. Then Mothman became mysterious. And then he became famous. And now he's become beloved. And that is a wild career arc. So, Lucy, how do you feel about Mothman becoming almost cute in modern cryptid culture?
I don't know how we collectively decided to make the glowing, red eyed omen adorable, but honestly, I'm okay with it. I believe justice for the Mothman. Let him have plushies.
He does have plushies. There are
Okay
Mothman
then.
plushies.
Nice. See?
Yes,
See?
there are Mothman plushies. I think
I am loving
you
this.
can get them at the souvenir shop. I mean, you can probably get them
Okay.
online too.
It's
But
on it's
yeah,
on my
no,
bucket list now. I have to have one.
he deserves at least a percentage of all the merch.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's to be fair. But that is a wild career arc to go from where we started with
Right.
this giant winged creature with glowing red eyes chasing people in their cars at night down dark roads to they celebrate him annually. Like they throw in a whole thing for him in Point Pleasant every year. It's so many people show up
Nice.
for it.
That
It
is
gets
awesome.
crazy. I know, and that is actually one of the funniest things about cryptids. The Jersey Devil is terrifying. Bigfoot's either scary or blurry. The Bigfoot is either the scary or blurry uncle in the woods.
Yeah, definitely.
Mothman is an omen of disaster, but also people want plushies of him, which
Right?
you can get.
People
And
like
honestly,
cute, dangerous
people
things.
like cute things. Yeah, like cats.
Yeah.
Yes. And honestly, I understand. There's something about Mothman that feels strangely sympathetic now, because maybe he's not usually described as attacking people. He scares people, he appears, he watches, he follows. But in the popular imagination, he is less a predator and more a warning. And that makes him different. He's not just the monster in the dark. He might be the thing trying to tell you the bridge is out. That idea
Right.
is eerie, but also weirdly sad. And that
Definitely.
goes back to what I was saying about, hey, maybe he was just warning people, hey, this bridge is getting ready to go. But
Exactly. Imagine that.
I know. All right, so here's the theory round. All
Okay.
right, Lucy,
Oh, okay.
theory round.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to lay out the main possibilities, and I want your reaction to each one. No pressure, no academic citations required, just vibes and judgment.
Perfect. That's exactly the level of qualification I brought with me today. I feel
Okay,
uniquely qualified to make this unqualified decision about cryptids. There's no wrong answers, right?
no
Maybe?
wrong answers. This is all your own personal.
Right. If
Yep.
Mothman wants to correct me later, he's welcome to. It's
Well,
okay.
as we see him fly over my house later. Okay, so theory one: Mothman was a misidentified bird, possibly a sandhill crane, owl, heron, or some large bird seen under bad lighting by people who are already scared. What do you think about that?
That's the boring answer. Imagine just being a crane trying to mind your own business. I think that's definitely possible, though, for some of the sightings that we've heard of. But it's boring.
It's
Meh.
definitely the more plausible. I
Boring.
agree with you on boring. I agree with you on the boring part. But it's definitely the most plausible explanation. I don't know where you get the glowing red eyes, like
Right. Thank
you
you.
know, yeah. But it's
I just
because
don't know what
it's not
bird
like
would chase you like that. I mean, like not
right.
like that.
I can understand some birds can be territorial. Maybe they were near its
Uh,
nest or something like that.
like geese. Geese are
Geese are
mean.
very territorial. Yeah, they're cool
Yes.
creatures.
Scary. Scary little buggers.
But I mean, that's one explanation I could come up with on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so theory two: Mothman was a local panic. A few strange reports got attention. The newspaper coverage spread the story, and people started interpreting normal things through the Mothman lens.
Humans are so dramatic. I mean, Mothman was basically the original viral rumor. I can definitely see how one story turns into another story. It's like that game that you play, as a kid in class. It's like, hey, it starts out with this, but by the end of the line, it becomes something else.
Oh, how you
You
start the
know?
story, and by the
Yeah,
time it
and
gets
then
to the
like
last person, it's
yeah,
completely changed.
exactly. It's just a little, yeah, it's different for sure. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Again with the arc, he started off being terrifying, and somehow now he's got cute plushies made of him. So,
Yeah,
yeah. All right. So theory number three: Mothman was a real unknown animal or cryptid, something physical, something rare, something people saw but science never identified. What's
see,
your take on that?
now we're talking. This one is what I call the fun answer, not the boring one. The fun one. This is the one my inner child wants to believe so much.
Right.
That's just some unknown creature thing.
That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like while I believe the bird is probably the more plausible yet boring answer, I want so hard to believe that there's actually this creature out there, whether it
Right.
be malevolent or benevolent, depending on
Exactly.
how
Yeah.
you want to interpret it. It would just be really neat if, and not even just Mothman, just cryptids in general, like as a whole, like Bigfoot. I want Bigfoot to be real. I want maybe not so much the Jersey Devil. He seems like a jerk, but just stuff like that. Like even like Nessie, so like the Loch Ness monster. I want her to be real.
Right.
Just
Right.
because you see all these pictures, you hear all
Everything
these
starts from
stories,
something, right?
right? Yeah, it's exactly. So like
Yeah.
rumors start from it's like, well, hey, I heard this happened, with this
Right.
person. And it's like you said with the story, it's like the story starts with one person, but by the time it gets to the last person, it's completely different.
But there
So,
has to be an
but
originate,
there
like
has
something
to
that,
be
that
some
caused it.
truth,
Yeah, exactly.
to it. Exactly, yeah. All right, so theory number four: Mothman was supernatural, which is also kind of where I'm leaning with it. He wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily an animal, not really a normal creature, but maybe an omen, or maybe a warning, or maybe just something connected to a disaster or high
Yeah.
strangeness.
See, that one gives me goosebumps, and gives me in like X-Files territory. Like
Absolutely.
my brain argues here. I don't know if I like firmly believe it, but I also don't not believe it, but I love it either way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like I love this area, like either one. The
right.
cryptid, the
That's where,
supernatural thing, maybe
yeah.
both.
That
Supernatural
that's
cryptid.
and that's exactly where I'm at with it. Like
Yeah.
I'm looking for like some kind of like hybrid answer here, where it's
There
like
you
maybe
go.
it's a combination of supernatural, maybe a combination of cryptid.
Exactly.
Because like I said earlier, after the collapse, he was just gone. Like there was, to my knowledge, no more sightings after the bridge collapse.
Yeah.
So that would either lead to, so which I mean I guess could lean alien too, if you want to go that route, is maybe he got beamed back up to his mothership.
Right.
Maybe he was,
Of
I don't
course.
know. Nobody knows. That's why we're here. That's why we're discussing this.
Mothman.
It's right. If you're listening, if you listen to this
If
episode,
you're tuning in to
reach
Dead
out,
Signal Radio,
reach out, and I would love to
call
interview.
me.
Call me. Yeah, I'll give you. Yep, yep. Email me, call me, whatever you or ask. Smoke signals, however you communicate. It's,
Right.
here I am.
Here I am.
I'm 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 being as serious as I can be about that.
About meeting
Honestly,
a cryptid, a supernatural cryptid.
that would be, yes.
Absolutely.
That would be, I, as a paranormal investigator, it would be like the holy grail of,
I feel like we should reference the pooping of the pants earlier, because like that
okay,
would probably happen.
that is still on the table. Not the poop, just the fact that I would poop my pants. But no, that would be incredible if he was like, "Hey,
Right.
this guy's talking about me. I'm going to show up at his house later,
He's
and
gonna show
I'm
up.
going to look out. I'm going to look out my window. I'm going to see two glowing red eyes. I'm going to poop my pants, and then I'm going, "Hey, Mothman, is that you?" He's like, "Yeah, man." And then we're going to talk. We're going to hash it out, and we're going to record the episode. And
Bold of you to
I'm,
assume you could
I'm
speak the same language.
That's true. That's a very good assumption, because,
You
to my
probably
knowledge, he never spoke to anybody.
right. You're
So
right. No
we
one
don't know.
heard anything.
Maybe he speaks in clicks or whistles or something. I don't know.
You know what? Music is a universal
It
language.
is universal language. It
Absolutely.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
So theory number 5. Let's continue.
Yes. There's more theories.
There are more theories.
Okay.
Yes. So theory number 5 is that Mothman is just mostly folklore,
Yeah.
meaning maybe something happened, maybe people saw something, but the story we know today is a mix of real sightings, memory, media, fear, tragedy, tourism, legend. What's your take on that?
Honestly, I mean, to be honest, folklore is pretty undefeated. The older I get, the more I appreciate a good legend. The
Mm-hmm.
truth is usually complicated anyway, so I'd probably say this is the safest bet, even though I would prefer it to be the other one or
Right.
two. But like, safest bet, I feel like this is even more safer than saying it was an actual bird, you know? Like maybe it just really wasn't.
I can see that. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite answer, and not because it's the most exciting, but because it allows the story to be complicated. Maybe Mothman's not just one thing. Maybe he's a
Right.
creature report, a disaster legend, a town identity, paranormal mystery, and just a piece of American folklore all at once. And that doesn't make him less interesting, but it makes him more interesting. So here's where I land. I don't think we can prove Mothman was a real creature. The evidence is not strong enough for that. We have eyewitness reports, we have newspaper coverage, we have later books and folklore. We don't have a body, though. We don't have clear photographs. We don't have enough physical evidence that confirms a winged, giant humanoid creature was flying around Point Pleasant. So, from a strict evidence standpoint, I have to stay skeptical.
Mhm.
But I also don't think the story is meaningless. Something clearly happened in Point Pleasant. At minimum, people believe they saw something strange. Enough people reported strange experiences that the story took hold. And the setting, timing, and later tragedy turned into something larger than a monster sighting. And that's why Mothman lasts. Not because we have the proof, but because the story hits multiple nerves at once: fear of the dark, fear of the unknown, fear of being warned too late, fear that tragedy might cast a shadow before it arrives. And maybe that's the most haunting version of Mothman. Not a monster, not a bird, not a demon, but a question. What if sometimes people see the warning before they understand what it means? Lucy, final verdict: bird, beast, omen, folklore, something else entirely.
I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I
Yeah,
don't know if Mothman was literally a giant winged creature,
right,
but I do think enough sincere people believe that they experienced something unusual so that it deserves to be acknowledged
right.
and remembered, right? Like it goes back to where I said I can't tell someone they didn't see something, you know?
Exactly.
So I feel like people experienced something, but I can't say. And again, that's what the mystery is. There's just no, oh, it leans this way or another, you know?
And that's kind of so. It's like you know we've got eyewitness accounts, so we've got the people who were chased by him in the car, and then the story gets out, and then all of a sudden you have all these other people. So it's like I kind of have to wonder: are these legitimate eyewitness accounts, or is it just like mass hysteria? You know, like once the story got out and people started hearing about this, it's like, oh hey, I saw the Mothman too.
Right.
Did you really, or are you just that person wanting attention? It could go
Exactly.
either way.
That's everywhere.
Everywhere for any reason. Yeah, and so that's officially on the record.
Nice.
Yes. Now, for my final answer, I would say Mothman is probably not a proven supernatural creature, but he's absolutely one of the best American legends. He has everything: a creepy
Hmm.
location, terrified witnesses, red eyes,
Red
wings,
eyes.
newspaper headlines, UFO weirdness, men in black, a real tragedy, and a town that just embraces story. And just enough mystery left over to keep people arguing decades later. And that's why people still care. That is why Lucy demanded this episode. And that is why Mothman is not going anywhere. He's still out there in the culture, standing at the edge of the road, red eyes glowing, wings folded, waiting for someone else to look over and say, "What was that?
What was that?
What was that?" All right, now Lucy, before we close this out, how did Mothman do? Did the
Huh.
story live up to your demand?
It absolutely did. I'd happily demand more cryptids.
Okay. And would you personally go to Point Pleasant if either by yourself or maybe as a group
Um,
with friends or something?
you know what? Absolutely. It looks like one of those places where even if you don't see anything paranormal, you'd still have a great story.
Right. Plus, you have to touch the butt. That's
I
mandatory.
to touch the butt.
Yeah, yeah.
That is the great story. How
That
did you
is the
know?
great story. I
Yeah, you
just,
just know
I'm a
things.
connoisseur. I just know
Butt touching?
things. That's a different topic altogether. But anyway, would you go to the TNT area at night?
Only if I could leave before it actually got dark.
I think that defeats the point of the question, but that answer is probably the wisest one
Yeah.
you could have. And my final question for you is: if Mothman appeared outside your house tonight, what would you do?
Oh my god, I thought he was coming to your house.
Well, I mean,
Okay, okay. If he was
he's going
outside
to come
my
here
house,
first, and then he's going to show up at your place.
I'd spend about 3 seconds trying to decide whether this was the greatest moment of my life or the
Fight or
last.
flight. And that honestly feels like the correct survival strategy. So, Lucy, I want to thank you so much for joining me and for demanding Mothman loudly enough. This episode had to happen.
Heck yeah, thank you for letting me come and talk about one of my favorite legends. This was a lot of fun, and now if Mothman is listening, we mean no disrespect. Call
Absolutely.
me. Call me.
No, absolutely. No, I agree. No disrespect whatsoever.
Absolutely.
And I'm also going to take this time real quick before I close the show out, before I do my
Yeah.
outro, to, because I think this went really well. This is the first time that I've done an episode like this where I've had a
Yes.
guest come on. And if you would be open to doing it again,
Definitely. I had
I
fun.
think I did too. I think it went well. And hopefully
I've got a lot to say.
you do. And that was really easy to work off of.
Absolutely.
Lucy and I, some history. We've known each other for a very long time. We've been
A long
friends for
time.
30 something years or longer. Uh,
Jeez.
yeah, it's been a long time. I know,
Stop.
just age, just, just, outed us right there. But so it's, stuff like this is easy. And honestly,
Absolutely.
we were both very nervous at the beginning of
Nervous
this,
for
just
nothing.
because, yeah, and I think it went well. So hopefully, for listeners out there, hopefully you enjoyed stuff like this. If you did, leave comments, all that kind of stuff. Let us know, and we'll do another one, or
Yeah.
probably even more. I've got all kinds of content ready to be recorded and uploaded, and I just want y'all to come listen and enjoy it and give me feedback. Let me know if it's good, if it's bad, what I can change, what I can do better. My editing skills are non-existent, so that's why you hear a lot of the slip-ups on some things. Just because if I'm 15 minutes into this, I'm not going to pause it or start over.
Oh,
So
nonsense, poopy pants.
I know, not yet. He hasn't showed up. So anyway, that is all for tonight. And I just want to thank you for spending a little time with us here at Dead Signal Radio. And I want to thank Lucy again for joining me on this special
Thank you.
episode. And also, if you enjoyed tonight's mystery, follow along for more strange stories, legends, cryptids, hauntings, and late night rabbit holes. And if you have a topic you want covered, just let me know. Apparently, if you demand it strongly enough, you might end up on the episode. Until next time, stay curious. And if you hear static, maybe listen a little closer.